I want to talk to you about Hover Domain Registrar, and we want to do a review of this service. We want to look at the pros and cons. We want to look at the functionalities, the pricing, everything. So here is our opinion when it comes to Hover Domain Registrar. Basically, I want you to think about simplicity. I want you to think about a very user-friendly platform. So you are able to buy your domain name really fast. So Hover Domain Registrar earns a positive endorsement for individuals and businesses seeking a user-friendly and transparent domain registration experience. And this is kind of cool because you have a tool that's clean, that has an intuitive interface. So what we love about Hover is that it's really fast and affordable too. I'll talk about pricing later on, but it's really fast. So it gets that endorsement from individuals and small businesses, not large enterprises, but small businesses, and in some cases, medium-sized enterprises. And we also love the fact that you have, with Hover, you have transparency in terms of pricing. So this is kind of cool so that you are able to get your domain name without any surprise. You know, like a lot of other players, they like to play games with consumers. They like to actually give you a huge discount only to actually hike the price in the second year or the third year at renewal. Hover doesn't play those games. So that's what we love a lot. We love Hover for that a lot. So when you think about Hover, I want you to think about a reliable choice if you prioritize simplicity, transparency, and excellent customer support in your domain registration journey. And by the way, Hover is actually based in Canada. So, but they actually cover the whole world. So if you are in the States, if you are in Australia, if you are in Nigeria, if you are in South Africa, if you are in Brazil, you can use Hover, not a problem. So what are the pros and cons of Hover Domain Registrar? The pros first. Hover is known the world over for its transparent pricing model. It features a clean and intuitive interface. It excels in customer support, and it provides whois privacy protection as an optional service. What about the cons? Basically, with Hover, you have a focus on domain registration significantly. In other words, if you're looking for website building or website hosting, you may not have it, although they have it, but it's a very limited. And really, they do not offer a comprehensive range of hosting services compared to specialized hosting providers such as Bluehost or DreamHost. And Hover provides email services that can be considered as basic for users with advanced email requirements. I want you to think about the differentiators. When we think about Hover Domain Registrar, what are the differentiators? In other words, who Hover Domain Registrar is best for and who Hover Domain Registrar is not right for. Let's have a conversation about that. So first, who Hover Domain Registrar is best for? Well, you want to think about Hover Domain Registrar if you seek a straightforward domain registration process, if you don't have extensive technical knowledge in domain management, if you appreciate domains that offer clarity, the domain registrar that offers clarity in the cost associated with domain registration. If you value prompt and exceptional customer service support, you will love Hover for that. And if you also prioritize keeping your personal information confidential, again, through the whois process, okay? So that's for those who would find Hover suitable. What about those who would find Hover unsuitable? So consider other domain registrars that offer broader options if you need, let's say, if you need comprehensive hosting services beyond basic domain registration. If you prefer an all-in-one solution that includes integrated web hosting, email services, and other services, because Hover doesn't have that. If you seek the absolute cheapest domain registration options, Hover is not the player to think about. I mean, they are cheap. Don't get me wrong; they are affordable, but they're not the cheapest. The cheapest, if you are thinking about the cheapest, think about Namecheap, for example. I mean, we've covered Namecheap also on another show. And you also want to consider other domain registrars if you prefer bundled services where domain registration, hosting, and other features are packaged together so you can save money, right? Because a lot of customers, they actually go after those packages because they are trying to save money. And consider other domain registrars if you work as a developer with complex technical requirements. I mean, Hover is not going to help you there. So this is something to really think about, especially in the long run. let me give you the details here. So if you think about Hover Domain Registrar, what does this service offer? Let's have a conversation about that. Let's have a granular view, a granular analysis of the capabilities here. So Hover Domain Registrar offers you domain registration. That makes sense. Domain transfer, domain privacy protection, email hosting, DNS management, bulk domain management, customer support, SSL certificates. Let me break it down. I mean, especially those that may be a little confusing. For instance, when we talk about bulk domain management, Hover provides tools for bulk management of domains. So what happens here is that you can efficiently update settings, renew multiple domains simultaneously, or even better, make changes to several domains at once. So that's really cool. When we talk about email hosting, for instance, while not a full-fledged email hosting provider, Hover does offer email services. So what happens here is that you can set up professional email addresses using their registered domain. For in terms of DNS management, you have control over the domain's DNS settings, allowing them to, you give them control rather. So allowing them to manage DNS records, configure custom settings, and point their domain to different hosting providers or services. So that's really cool. You also have domain transfer as well as domain registration. So let me give you some details about Hover Domain Registrar. Basically, you have service portfolio, domain extension, pricing structure. You have, for instance, for a .com domain, the introductory price is $14.99 per year with a renewal cost of $16.99 per year. And Hover includes free domain name privacy with every domain purchase. It offers low-cost email starting at $20 per year for 10 gigabytes of storage. Additionally, and that's something we love a lot, Hover provides bulk domain name discounts and competitively priced I/O extensions for $35.99 per year. That's really cool. And you also have SSL certificates, right? So Hover provides users with options to purchase SSL certificates separately, enhancing the security of websites through encrypted data transmission. So if you are worried about, and you should be worried about your website security, you want to contemplate, at least you want to consider the SSL certificate offer that we have here. Let me talk to you about the value added. So when we talk about the Hover Domain Registrar, what does this service stand out? So Hover Domain Registrar stands out in several key areas in our view, making it a notable choice for individuals and businesses seeking domain registration services. So you have ease of use, for instance, transparency in terms of pricing. That's an important element to think about. You have customer service excellence. So when you think about customer service excellence, you have the ability to actually talk to someone, because a lot of those players, the players I'm talking about, the domain registrars, they give you they say 24/7 customer service, but it's only available through chat, live chat, or email. They never do phone. But Hover doesn't do that. Hover allows you to talk to someone if you want it. You also have privacy protection options. So Hover offers robust privacy protection options for domain registrations, so you can keep your personal information confidential, protecting you from spam and unwanted solicitations. And this focus on privacy is particularly important for individuals who value online security, and you should value online security. And also you have a hassle-free domain transfers. So Hover, they actually streamline the domain transfer process, making it hassle-free for you if you are looking to move your domains to Hover. So that's really fantastic. Even if you're moving your domain out of Hover, you can still have a pretty stress-free process. That's really cool. And so where does Hover Domain Registrar really falls short? You have limited hosting services. You have basic email services, lack of advanced technical features, and no website building tools. So Hover does not provide website building tools as part of its services. So you are looking for an all-in-one solution. If you're looking for an all-in-one solution that includes domain registration and website building, you may need to explore actually alternative registrars that offer integrated website creation tools such as Bluehost, GoDaddy, A2 Hosting, You can have you can try also DreamHost also. So you have a lot of offers. I mean, the cool thing is this is a very crowded field, and so if Hover doesn't have the service you need, chances are you are going to find it through through the next business, because it's a very crowded and very competitive market. So what are the specs here? When we think about Hover Domain Registrar, what kind of specs should you be thinking about? How do you acquire Hover Domain Registrar in the first place? How do you get a domain from Hover? Well, basically you just go to the website, open your web browser and go to the website, search for your desired domain, use the domain search bar on the homepage to check the availability of your desired domain name, enter your domain, the domain you want, including the extension, the extension. So we're talking about the TLD, so .com, .net, .us, for instance. Choose your domain. So if the domain is available, Hover will display the results along with various extension options. Select the domain you want to register. You got to really be clear here. And so review and add to cart. Review the selected domain, and if everything looks correct, click on the add to cart or similar button. And then what you want to do is you want to configure your domain options. And Hover may actually provide options such as a WHOIS, privacy protection, email services, or other add-ons. You want to configure these options according to your preferences. And this is kind of cool. And we actually recommend WHOIS privacy so that you can protect your personal information. Because the whole thing is you don't want folks to actually send you spam, or you don't want strangers to actually show up at your residence. And you want to create a Hover account so that you can verify things going forward, enter billing information, complete and confirm purchase, and verify email if necessary. So that's really cool. Now, one thing I need to say is that you got to access your Hover account after going through the whole process. So once the registration is complete, log into your Hover account to manage your domain settings, DNS records, and other configurations, because Hover is not doing it for you. Okay, you are responsible for your own domain or domains. Okay, it really depends on how many you bought from the service. Let's talk about the rivals here. So we have huge competition, right? This is a very crowded field. And so what are the alternatives to Hover? You have Namecheap, you have GoDaddy, among others. You have a Bluehost, you have Google Domains, you have DreamHost. So for instance, when we talk about Namecheap is recognized for its pros in affordable domain registration, featuring a user-friendly interface and providing complementary WHOIS privacy protection. What we love about Namecheap, and we have covered Namecheap on another show extensively, the platform stands out for offering a diverse array of additional services encompassing hosting and SSL certificates. And what about GoDaddy? GoDaddy is actually one of the largest global domain registrars. They boast actually an extensive array of services that includes hosting and website builders, known for frequent promotions and extensive selection of domain extensions. GoDaddy stands out in the domain registration landscape, something that's really, really good to know. You also have Bluehost. Bluehost is actually kind of cool because it has a robust hosting solution offer, complete with a complimentary first-year domain registration, and that's free, round-the-clock customer support, and seamless integration with popular website platforms such as WordPress. And you also have to think about DreamHost. So DreamHost excels in delivering hosting and domain services, emphasizing robust customer support. So that's really cool. However, it's one thing we also love with DreamHost. We love the transparency in pricing, and also the fact that you have a WHOIS privacy protection. However, just be aware that you might have a complex interface to deal with. So what is the extra info here? Customer reviews when it comes to Hover Domain Registrar, positive overall, not a problem. Whether you go on Forbes Advisor, or you go on SiteJabber, you go on Trustpilot, you go on Triple B, you go on G2, you have overall positive. You have an average of 4.2 to 4.3 out of 5 stars. So that's really cool, really fantastic. Let me give you a few pro tips as we close to this conversation about Hover Domain Registrars. The thing is that whether you go with Hover or you go with another player, it's important to take advantage of privacy protection. You always want to cover your ass. Really critical. So you want to enable whois privacy protection to keep your personal information confidential. And this helps protect against, for instance, spam and unwanted solicitations. Okay. You also want to explore additional services. So while Hover primarily focuses on domain registration, you want to explore their email services and any new features they may introduce. You want to evaluate if any additional services align with your needs. This is part of the operational alignments you have to always seek. You want to regularly review domain renewal costs. So be aware of renewal costs for your domains. Regularly review and compare renewal process to ensure they align with your budget and expectations. You can also utilize Hover's user-friendly interface. And the cool thing is that Hover has a clean and intuitive interface that allows you to efficiently manage your domain portfolio. So take the time right now, as you are listening to me right now, take the time to familiarize yourself with the dashboard for a seamless navigation. You also want to keep contact information updated in the Hover sort of database. So ensure that your contact information with Hover is always up to date. This is crucial for receiving important notifications and ensuring a smooth domain management experience, especially when it comes to domain transfers. You can consider domain transfers. So if you have domains registered with other registrars, explore Hover's domain transfer process. They aim to make transfers hassle-free, and consolidating your domains under one registrar can really simplify management in our view. So in recap, it's important to understand that Hover Domain Registrar emerges as a reliable and user-friendly choice for domain registration, particularly for those who prioritize simplicity, transparency, and excellent customer support. So with a clean and intuitive interface, Hover makes the domain management process accessible to users of all experience levels. And the platform's commitment to transparent pricing ensures that users such as you can easily understand and plan for the cost associated with domain registration. So that's really fantastic. And one thing I want to say before closing is that while Hover may have limitations in terms of hosting services and advanced features, its focus on core domain registration functionalities, in our view, results in a streamlined and efficient user experience. So overall, Hover is well suited for individuals and businesses seeking a straightforward and customer-oriented approach to managing their domain portfolios. So in conclusion, to this conversation, I spoke to you about Hover Domain Registrar, and I give you our opinion, the differentiators, the details, the value added, the specs, the extra info, and now the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.